everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, what's happening, folks?
Sam Healey, hello.
And today we are starting a 5-video series of Essen preview videos. There's a lot of games that are coming out of Essen. And so a couple things before we start. First of all, a huge thanks to Eric Martin, who put together a geek list on Board Game Geek and continually updates it.
Yeah.
That's a massive amount of work, and it's because of that we can put this list together. Secondly, we decided, kind of randomly, not randomly, but we decided we'd focus on 100 games. And that may seem like a lot, but there are at least 650 games coming out of Essen, probably more. So we're leaving out 550 of them. So because of that, if a game that you like or that you've designed or published or whatever, doesn't mean it's awful. It just means these were ones that one of the three of us at least had a special interest in.
Right.
And it's quite possible that when we're done with the fair and we come back, we'll find a game that wasn't on this list that we think is one of the best games of the fair. Yeah. That's very reasonable. We also did not do Kickstarter games that are just being previewed there. The game actually has to be coming out of Essen, or at least there's a good chance it will be at Essen.
Right.
And then finally, we're not talking about games that we've already talked about that have been released already. And in regards to, like, we're using Gen Con. So if they came out at Gen Con, then I'm not going to talk about them because we've already talked about them in a Gen Con preview.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's all my caveats. We're going through these not necessarily in alphabetical order. We're going in alphabetical order by the company, although sometimes multiple companies do different games, so whatever. Just watch all 5 videos.
And yeah, be glad if you're watching it all that it's not 650 games we're talking about.
Well, actually, we're glad for that. We'll put links in the bottom to timestamp to where we talk about each of the games. So here we go. Game number 1, 504, designed by Friedman Fries and his own company, 2F Spiel, and it's being co-published with Stronghold Games. Now, you have to admit, even though I think this is one I'm interested in, this is a audacious design.
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is going to be one of the more... I think this is going to be one of the more interesting things to see at the fair. Doesn't matter if you end up liking it or not.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
I'm just wondering how they're going to have a differentiation level between all of those different games. I mean, they're all coming in the same box. They all have rules. After a while, it's going to seem...
Like you're saying, the difference between Game 5, just so if you don't know anything about it, there's 9 modules in the game, and you pick 3 modules in an order, and then, so 9 times 8 times 7 is 504. And then you get 504 different games. Yeah. It has like a flip book, rule book, where you like flip the top and the middle and the bottom, and you get the rules. So you're saying maybe Game 562 is not much different than Game 526.
Sure.
I played a couple of the games back when it was in prototype form. I liked them. I did not think that they were the best games ever. They were decent, solid games, but I think if you get 500 solid games in a box, that's a pretty good deal.
It's just, again, I'm not over the moon about it. I just think it's going to be a really interesting experiment. I want to see it. I want to see it and see how it works, and perhaps it's something I'll appreciate, if not necessarily bust out and play. But I think it's going to be unique.
You're going to be using the same components for every single game?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sold.
You'll find over this list that I tend to be more excited than these guys about the games. I think more of the games are here because I was like, woo, than you guys probably.
Oh, I don't know. There's a few games I'm really excited about.
I had a list of about 25 or 30 of them.
Well, there you go. The next game is Aya, A-Y-A. This is from Act In Games. This one's interesting, I think, because I was fascinated by it because it uses a mechanism I've never seen used before, and that's dominoes.
Right.
Where there's dominoes between different things, and it looks like you can knock them over, and it pushes stuff. I don't know. I just think that's a really fascinating concept.
I mean, the pictures that are out there right now are still just renderings, and they're very gorgeous looking renderings. But the game, if knocking down pieces like you do in dominoes, where you set up a bunch of dominoes and that takes 20 minutes, and you knock them down in 4 seconds, if that's part of this game. I'm not sure. I'm
from what
feeling
I
that.
can tell from it, you're like setting these things up over the course of the game. At the end of the game, you knock everything down, and then the pictures that are showing will score points for whoever. It's certainly unique. You're not a big fan?
I was never into dominoes, so this doesn't grip me at all.
Well, this has nothing to do with dominoes, as far as I can
Well, I
tell.
mean, you're using a domino effect that you have to set up.
You're doing
lost me.
this thing. I mean, that's not dominoes.
Okay, the domino effect then. Come on now. We know they're not
Domino
dominoes.
effect.
Okay.
I mean,
Knocking things down.
I'm not into setting things up just to go.
Okay, well, I love that. Mousetrap is a horrible game, but I still like that whole thing. My biggest concern with this game is for people like me. I won't include Sam, although it's also for Sam. Just getting my fingers in there. I would be worried I'm knocking stuff over all the time.
Yeah. And that's why
the game is half as pretty as it looks in the renderings, though. I'll want to check it out.
that's one of the reasons why I was never into dominoes, I think. It's because everything you've done is done.
Man, you guys are killing me here with the dominoes thing. You realize dominoes is like a game, not a thing to set up and knock down.
Okay, but everyone in the world
What
calls
do
those
you
dominoes.
use?
No one calls them knock over blocks of wood.
It's called the domino effect, man. Come on.
All right.
I'm not killing you. All right. The next game is Dice City. This is from AEG, and this is basically a dice crafting game where the locations in your cities will become the different faces of the dice that you roll.
Right.
There's a lot of previews available for this one already. It's also, I think AEG is doing it with Artipia games, which I thought was odd because Artipia usually has worked with Stronghold. But I don't know, I like dice. So
I like dice. I like the idea of building your own dice, the whole, customizable. I'm just, right now, the thing that's keeping me from being more excited about this game is that it feels generic a little bit. It's got, the title doesn't do it any favors. Dice City, woo! And the whole thing just has a very, we got dice too feel to it. Like, it doesn't pop out as something interesting and fresh. It seems cool, but done, if that makes sense. And so I'm worried about that. It's not quite flying off the page for me. It's just like, oh, cool, a dice game. What else you got?
Building dice. I got burned by one game doing this, so I don't know.
okay, but I think if I brought this out, I think you'll both play it if I brought this to the table.
Oh yeah. I'll try it for sure. I'm just again right now. It seems a little generic.
Yeah,
I guess I'm more excited about it than these guys. Now you talk about one that doesn't look generic. It's the next one from AEG,
Yes.
and that's Flock, which has birds. And I'm telling you, this one I'm drawn to simply. I guess it's kind of shallow, but the artwork. I think the artwork in this game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's pictures of birds, and you're trying to expand your flock with the goal of scoring the most victory points after 3 rounds of play. Okay, blah blah blah.
It looks cool. I saw this game when it first when it had its first preview, and right away the look was beautiful. And then I like the idea of this card play. It looks like it has some really neat design, some nice symbology. It just looks like a clean product, and it looks really, it pops. It's beautiful, and the colors are just right on. The whole package looks like an attention grabber, and that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping for.
Yeah, just shows how many worms they need and eggs and stuff.
It looks very cool.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
So that's one I'm looking forward to. That's on my list to check out because it looks like a neat game. Nice theme also.
It's a
card game, which again, that puts that on my list, right? Yeah.
That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of that, the next game I wasn't going to even put on the list because it's in German. By the way, I usually try to get games that are, the games we're talking about should be available in English.
Right.
This one you put on the list. What is it?
I did. It's, well, for one thing, anything that says trick-taking under the category, right away I go, ooh, let me look into it. And then this game is from a designer who I'm a big fan of, Reinhard Stopp. How do you say his last name? Yes. I really like his games. He's mainly a card game designer, but they're always interesting, and they're always just slightly off-center enough for me to go, ooh, that sounds cool. So he's putting out a trick-taking game. It's from Amigo. That's a company I really like. I got to check this one out. I think I'm going to like it.
All right. What's that game called again?
It's in German. I think it's called Three's Enough, I think is a translation. But it's, I'm going to butcher this. Three sind ein zu viel.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that's going to be horrifically bad. I'm sorry.
The next game...
I apologize to everyone who's ever heard German, ever.
The next game is from Ape Games, and this is Spirit of the Rice Paddy. Now, I think they were showing this off at Gen Con. I didn't see it, but I think they were showing it off there.
I think so. I did not see it there as well. I know it's...
It caught my eye. It caught my eye.
I've seen
I
it.
saw it going through
I've seen the pictures and everything coming out of the Kickstarter of it.
Well, it's certainly a pretty game.
It's a pretty... I think it has a pretty cover, and then when I get to the components, I'm like, ooh, this is Agricola-ish, with the whole fencing things in and all of that. So I am mildly interested. You know, I'm sort of optimistically interested.
It's only an hour and a half, though, so...
We'll see.
It's pretty long for Z.
No, that's not long. Come on. But the theme isn't really grabbing me that much, and right now the only thing it's coasting on is... pretty. It's pretty.
No, I would argue that the other thing it's coasting on is the designer. Philip DeBarry has put out some really good games. Yeah. I like Revolution. I like the Kingdom of Solomon. You know, I feel like he has a solid designing track record.
The theme kind of grabbed me because we used to live in the middle of a bunch of rice paddies when we lived in Korea, out in the country. So that kind of grabbed onto me, and then the mechanics also grabbed onto me as well. Card drafting and tile placement and that type of thing. So I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to see what it's like.
All right, the next game is Automania. That's from Aporta Games. I'm drawn to this because one of the designers is Christian Amundsen Ostby, who is a designer that I always kind of pay attention to what he does. His last big game, you know, was Escape. But this one looks more like a straight-up Euro game where you're running a factory trying to make cars on the market. And what attracts me to this one is it doesn't look as complex as what's the one that came out last year about automobiles. Kanban.
Yeah, that's what had me sort of picking up my ears too. Is that it looks like the Kanban for me.
Right.
Which is, I'm on board with that. And also, this company last year, I really liked what they did. They put out a little game. I forget what it was called now, but the one where you roll dice and you...
Doodle City? Doodle Town?
Yeah, I forget right now what it was called, but I like that company. I like what they're doing. I like their look. I like their ideas. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's a bigger package. Looks good. Euro, yeah, but I want to check it out for sure.
All right, the next game is about a continent that no one lives on, except unless you're a scientist, and that's Antarctica. And this is by Argentum Verlag. Again, maybe this is superfluous, but this one has me interested because it looks pretty. I mean, I look at the bits. There's lots of wooden pieces. It looks like a giant rondelle, actually. It's about global warming in the future. Things are melting, and you are trying to make resources and mine for resources. And I wonder if it might be abstract.
Well, the one thing, I did some research on it earlier. It's got a pretty cover. The board did not impress me very much. I know Charles Chevalier is a designer I do like. He's
what has it done?
A few,
Abyss.
He did Abyss with Bruno Catala, and he did the one game we played, Sam, with the stacking totems. What is that game called?
The American...
Masks, Kenya, Nautilus, Sultania. Oh, I like Sultania. That's a fun game. And Wakanda.
That's it, Wakanda. So yeah, I like his designs. I think he's an interesting designer. This seems like something bigger than what he usually does.
So that might be, again, I'm hoping that, I know that there's people who are always whining and crying about the loss of these big, gigantic strategy games, but I've always thought that there's been a dearth of medium-weight Euro games. There really has been, and if this is another one, I'll be super excited about that.
Doesn't it have that mechanic of the sun and the cycle of the sun, and whenever the sun hits your...
Yes, and I know you had a bad experience about that with the game, but this one might be a different version of that.
All right, we'll see.
All right. The next game from Artipia Games is The Pursuit of Happiness. There's not a whole lot of information on it other than you're taking a person from birth and having the life you've always wanted, projects, jobs, relationships, and families, etc. I'm hoping that this is a more family...
It's the game of life.
It's like
gamer version of life.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of, what's the Friedman Fries's game?
Oh, Funny Friends?
I'm hoping this
Clean
is
Funny Friends?
a clean Funny Friends.
Sure.
Because I never want to play Funny Friends, because in Funny Friends you're trying to get diseases and die and all sorts of nonsense.
It's very adult, as in the other connotation of that word. But this one, actually, Sam and I saw a picture of the board, and it didn't really grab me.
Pursuit of Sadness.
It just, I mean, it looks like some...
No, you're escaping sadness.
It looks like maybe some worker placement. It's a very bright board, and I'm not using that word as a positive this time. I mean, it's like, it's a bunch of hot pinks and bright yellows, and it's not grabbing me at all, really. I'm not interested.
But those are happy colors.
It might be cool, but from that first impression, not doing it for me.
All right, well... This is one of my hottest games. I'm so excited that's coming out from Artipia Games, and that's Stellar Conflict. And the reason I am really pumped about this is because it's a reprint of one of my favorite games, Lightspeed, from James Ernest. And that's a game in which you took cards and you basically just threw them on the table as fast as you could, and then you stopped and saw how they all shot at each other and got points based on that. And I just really liked it. Yeah. And Artipia does really cool looking stuff. If they take their art from their space games, like, Among the Stars, which it looks like Stellar Conflict is in that universe.
Right, it is.
And it says it's deeper, and you can also... What did it say? Oh, there's races with their own powers? This is a 10 for me. I'm really excited about this.
What about you, Sam? You like this game?
I'm looking forward to it, yes.
You played the original?
Yes, I did play the original. We used to play it fairly often in Korea. And
well, the thing about the game is that, you know how we play with Jason? Jason will be like, boom, 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 and he'll win?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you throw your stuff on the table fast. You probably won't win. Because no one is so fast to be able to calculate that, and you never know who's going to put a ship in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ships all fire off in different orders.
Sounds like one of the worst games I could get roped into. I hate speed games. This sounds like the same thing I hate about something like Galaxy Trucker. It's a speed game, and then you see what happened. I hate that.
It's not...
That's two things I hate. And then combining them? No, please.
But maybe Sam hates Galaxy Trucker too, but maybe you would like this one more because it's 10 minutes as opposed to...
Yeah, it's not long. It's like...
Still, I can do 10 minutes. I can do any other cool filler. I just hate speed games. The whole, slap things on the table and then see what happened. Nope.
Well, Zee will continue his hatred now as we go to the next one from Bombix Games, and that's Cardline Marvel.
I'm not hating on this one.
You've been making sarcastic comments about it all day.
I just think it's funny.
All right. This is the same as Timeline, in which you try to put different events in history in order, but you have Marvel heroes and such. I don't know how many come in at 100. So 100 different characters, and you're putting them in order, but there's different stats. So you say, okay, we're going to be doing IQ, fighting ability. Is that weight? I'm going to go with strength instead of weight. They say weight here, but I'm going to think it's strength. Although weight would be hilarious, too. How much does Storm weigh? A woman never tells. I mean, so anyhow, but you pick one of the stats, and then that's the stat used for the game, which gives the set more replayability than a typical timeline. And also, to me, would be just fun, to do the same thing in a geeky universe as opposed to, oh, you didn't know when the Titanic sank the year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not... You guys are bigger comic book guys than I am. Definitely Tom is, but...
I'm probably closer to your level.
But still, both of us, we want to...
That's true, I do.
I want to do it. I mean, that's cool. I want to be like, ooh, okay, Silver Surfer and this guy. I don't know.
You're becoming a bigger Marvel fan as the years go by.
I guess so. I mean, hanging out with you guys, I can't help it. But no, I'm excited about it. It seems like a nice little card game, for sure.
All right, the next one's from a company called Badger's Nest, which I actually don't know much about this company.
I don't know much about a Badger's Nest either.
Well, the game is called Seven Ronin. Seven Ronin is interesting to me because it's an asymmetrical two-player game, and I'm always interested in asymmetrical two-player games, especially in this one where one person's a group of ninja trying to attack a village, defend it by seven Ronin, and that's just a great theme. Oh, yeah. Some great movies have come by that. I think this one's high on your list, too.
Oh, it is. It's very high on my list, and one of the main reasons why is because I like that Japanese legend.
Right, like the Nine Ronin or whatever.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different, a lot of different stories have come out from it, but the story has always intrigued me, that there was this powerful overlord that was having to trying to come take this last final bastion of resistance, and so he sends everybody at him, and the villagers and the 7 Ronin defend the village for a while. It's almost like an Alamo type story.
Right.
And so it's that reached out to me, and I've always been kind of a sucker for samurai and ninjas, so.
Sure. That's why I'm excited about it, yeah.
My biggest hope is that the two sides are equally as fun to play.
Yeah.
Then from the same company, this company got 2 games that made our list, and that's Waste Knights. That's waste as in things you throw away, and then knights as in people who fight. This is a post-apocalyptic game in Australia, which is why I'm wondering why you have this not ranked so very high.
That's the one thing I liked about that whole description. Post-apocalyptic, ooh! And then I started looking at pictures.
Oh, then you heard Australia.
And I started hearing about the length of the game, and it looks like another After Earth from Z-Man Games. Remember that game? No, you don't, do you?
I remember After Earth.
Because no one plays it anymore.
Well,
and every car looks generic, and everything is just another one of those games that are... Like, I swear you could put a picture in front of me of, like, this game, and this game, and I couldn't tell you which Amerithrash, post-apocalyptic, smash people in the face game it came from. Because they all look the same.
Just like all those Trading in the Mediterranean games.
Probably, yeah.
Or all those 15-minute card games.
Yeah, maybe.
No, come on.
Come on. Again, it's just that game to me.
There's some crow right there on your plate.
Crow?
Come on.
Delicious.
All right.
I don't know. It just looks generic to me.
Well, I'm hoping it's good.
I'm looking forward to it. The length is kind of okay. Maybe I don't want to. It depends on how rich the gameplay is, but I think it looks pretty neat.
All right, the next 3 games are from the same company, Bezier Games. And the first one is the one that only I'm interested in, but I like it anyway because I love Castle Mad King Ludwig, and this one's Castle Mad King Ludwig Secrets.
You said it right twice in a row. That's awesome.
Well, I know. But there's a couple things I'm interested in, just more rooms. Okay, there's 30 new rooms, great. And then there's also a moat that kind of goes around, which kind of makes you keep your castle from just doing kind of weird things, and so I like that idea. There's secret passages and all sorts of neat things in it. I think more stuff just in general for this game.
Gotcha.
You both ranked this seriously low.
Well, yeah. I've never.
I mean, is it still?
I've never played the game, so that's why I didn't.
Does it keep everything from Castles of Mad King Ludwig? Yes, then I don't want.
Wow, I thought he was going to say something like profound there.
No.
The next game we've actually had a chance to play already, and that's Favor of the Pharaoh. And this is a reprinting of an older game called To Court the King. And Favor of the Pharaoh, which I just did a review on last week of that game. And this is basically chucking dice. Yeah. You're trying to get Yahtzee, getting dice together, but he's decided that maybe you should have 7,000 options. There's certainly a lot more variety in this game. Really nice dice. The box is as big as Ticket to Ride at this point. Before it was as, it was like this size.
Right.
I really like it. I think it's cool, it's neat, great components. I don't know if you were as fond of it.
No, I'm not, because, I mean, quite frankly, it's more like Yahtzee than all the other Yahtzee dice games that have come out right now, because you're really just looking for those pips on the dice.
That's true.
That's all and I understand that they give you other special powers that you can do, but it really just comes back to how you can manipulate the dice. I just thought it maybe took itself a little bit too seriously. If I want a Yahtzee mechanic, I'm gonna go play Ultimate Warriors, King of Tokyo, and just have a dice chucking fun time. This one, it said, okay, roll some dice, but now you gotta think some more on top of it.
Okay, all right, and then the last one from Bezier Games is Terra. Now, Terra is a direct sequel to Fauna, which both are designed by Friedman Fries. In Fauna, there was animals all over the world, and you were... I'm saying the right word, yeah. There's animals all over the world, and you were trying to guess, like using a little bit of a bidding system, where those animals were in the world, how much they weighed, how long their tail was, etc. This does the same thing, but instead of animals, although there is a couple animals in the game, it's historical sites or
like the
battles that happen.
They went from like animals to the earth.
Topographical and history and things like that. And I like that because it provides more of a rounded thing. You might be good at history, I might know my science, Sam might know, you know, different things. And I've played it. It's really good, solid game. I would say if you hate fauna, you probably won't like it, unless you hate it fauna because you don't know anything about animals. But it's a really solid game. It's a trivia-style game, which is actually really fun.
Right.
So, highly recommend it.
This has to be on my top 10 games I'm looking forward to.
Really? He's going to steal my copy.
My fauna is in my top 100 games. And this seems like an amazing compilation of good trivia. You know what I mean? This is the game that, I mean, I haven't played. Okay, I'm going from knowing fauna and what I've read of this. But I think this should be the kind of game that in most homes replaces Trivial Pursuit. This kind of thing. Yes,
because this one rewards you not just for knowing the answer, but for kind of knowing the answer. Yeah, that's helpful too.
That's fun. It's not just do you know it, do you not know it? That's it. That you either do or don't. And this one you got a game in there to sort of push it, you know, and figure it out.
All right, the next game is from BlackRock Games, and that's Piratoons, which in this game you're making a ship, a pirate crew, fighting other people, having the best crew. It seems like a fairly simplistic game, but it's about pirates, so I'm interested in it.
That's the main
That's a pretty lame reason, I guess.
I watched the video preview of it. It was not very interesting to me. It did not engage me. The other game from the company, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. BlackRock Games have made some games I really like. Like The Boss is one of my favorite little
they're the guys who made The Boss. That's a good card game.
I really like that game. But we have another game here on the list that I'm also not interested in. And this one at all.
Okay, well, let's jump into that one. That one's called Targets, and I am super pumped about this one. It's probably my top 20.
Oh, my word!
Yeah, but I like this style game. Come on, you shouldn't be surprised. It's a flicking dice type game.
I know.
Where you're trying to land things and on other things, and well, that's pretty much all I know about it.
That's all there is, I think.
But I like that idea, flicking dice onto the board. You also ranked this one quite low.
I don't understand. I'm still trying to figure out when did flicking dice become a thing. People do know they're square, they're cubes, right? That's not an optimum flicking.
I know.
You know, clink. It just can do anything it wants to. I don't know. It looks really bad, unfortunately. Yeah. Targets.
All right, I am really. There's another one I think if it's not in my top 10, it's pretty close, and that's Celestia. And again, this is another reprint of an older game that I like a lot, Cloud9, with the exception of the artwork in this one is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, this is like taking a game and going, should we reprint this? Yeah, let's reprint. That's a reprint, right? You know what I mean? They threw everything at this game, and it is stunning looking. It's gorgeous looking.
That's one of the things that I always had a problem with Cloud9 is that it looked so drab and boring. And so
all the cards are the same.
And so that's one of the reasons why I've got a little bit of hype on this one, because I do enjoy the mechanics of Cloud9, but now it comes in a nice package.
Right. See, Cloud9 for me was never like a real attention getter, but a game this gorgeous, I'm going to have to try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's different things here. You can jump out of the thing with different objects, a jetpack. I don't know if that actually changes the game or if that's just theme that's thrown in.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm super excited about this one. And I don't know anything about this company either. Blam?
Well, that's what it is. Blam!
All right, then the last game for today's is Casting. And this is from Blue Cocker Games, and honestly, right there, I'm interested because of their strong debut last year with Medieval Academy.
Right.
That was an amazing game to start out with.
Right.
But this one also is a director looking for comedians for the next movie, which is a theme I like.
Right, and it's a theme that does not get used as much as some of these other more dry themes.
Well, it's kind of a party-style game.
Right, and it sounds neat. It sounds like a really engaging sort of activity style of game, and like you said, these guys know how to make their games look good. They know how to package them. It seems fun. I got to check this one out.
All right, yeah, there's an English version coming, so we'll certainly look it up, and maybe Yellow will pick it up like they picked up Medieval Academy.
Right.
All right, that's 20 games, 80 more to go. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, thank you, folks.
Sam Healey. See you on the flip side.